If you think hammering out crunches, Russian twists, and medicine ball slams are gonna target your belly fat, I've got bad news. And I have good news. The good news is that there's a smarter, easier, and way more enjoyable way to flatten your midsection. One that works at any age and doesn't involve you doing 400 sit-ups until your spine demands a vacation. I'm gonna break down the myth of spot reduction, explain how fat loss really works, and give you practical, proven strategies that'll burn fat all over your body, and ultimately, your belly fat. And I'll prove why walking 4,000 steps beats doing 400 sit-ups for calorie burn. And I actually did this myself. Let's start with the myth that refuses to die, the spot reduction myth. The idea seems so logical. Work the muscle under the fat and the fat will disappear. It's just that it's not true. The National Academy of Sports Medicine, or NASM, says it flat out. Spot reducing fat is not a viable approach. When you exercise, muscle pulls energy from your entire body, not just from the nearest fat cells. Multiple studies have tested this to death and have gotten the same results. No spot reduction. For example, one study had people do 6 weeks of intense ab exercises. The results? 0 difference in belly fat compared to a control group who did nothing. The ab exercisers got stronger abs, but the belly fat didn't bulge. Another study put people through a 27-day sit-up marathon, about 1,100 sit-ups in total. After all those sore bodies, there was no change in abdominal fat thickness or fat cell size. In a third trial, and this is funny, participants did 12 weeks of weight training using only one arm. They lost fat, yes, but evenly across their body, not just in the trained arm. What targeted work will do, or in the case of abs, will strengthen and tone the muscles underneath the fat. That's why some people feel tighter in the core, but look exactly the same in the mirror. The muscle is firmer, but the fat on top hasn't changed. Your six-pack is there, but it's hiding underneath the fat. Part number 2, how fat loss really works. If you can't melt fat directly off your stomach, then how do you lose it? It starts with knowing how your body decides where to store and burn fats. It all comes down to genetics, sex, age, and hormones. Women and men naturally store fat in different areas of their body. As hormones change as you age, so do the fat locations throughout your body. So as you lose weight, belly fat is often the last thing to go. Your body will tend to slim down faster in some areas versus others. And for many of us, the abdomen is the toughest area to slim down. It diminishes much more slowly than other parts. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. Your body is literally designed to hold on to that fat for dear life. You've also got 2 types of belly fat: subcutaneous fat and visceral fat. Subcutaneous is the stuff that we know of that you can pinch and grab and jiggle. Visceral fat is fat that's packed inside your body around your organs, which is much more problematic for your health. Visceral fat is often what's responsible for a hard belly. It's also linked to a higher risk of diabetes, heart disease, and other nasty issues. But on the bright side, visceral fat is actually easier to lose than subcutaneous fat. So the bottom line is that when you burn fat with a calorie deficit, your body pulls fat from fat stores all over your body according to your DNA. The fat will come off where your biology determines. And sometimes, in the case of belly fat, that's often after some other areas lean out. Part 3, strategies to lose belly fat. If you want your belly smaller, I have 4 strategies to shrink your total fat stores. Number 1, boost your daily activity. Brisk walking, cycling, dancing, whatever gets you moving. Aim for a minimum of 150 minutes of cardio per week. That's about 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And that's also recommended by NASM. My advice is just start with walking. It torches calories, improves your health, and specifically helps you cut that visceral fat. Number 2, add strength training. And this is for men and women. Building muscle not only tones you, but also boosts your resting metabolism. That's because muscle tissue burns more calories at rest than fat does. Plus, if you strategically build muscle in certain areas of your body, this will make your stomach look flatter naturally, kind of like what the bodybuilders do. Number 3, eat at a calorie deficit. You won't see changes in body fat if you're eating more calories than you burn. Focus on a diet that puts you in a daily calorie deficit of about 300 to 600 calories a day. Prioritize lean protein. This helps you feel full and helps you build muscle. You don't have to starve. You just need to be strategic about choices so that your calories in are less than your calories out on a consistent basis. 4, fix your lifestyle factors. Sometimes it's not just diet and exercise that's holding back your results. Sleep and stress play a huge role in fat loss, especially around the belly. High stress levels drive up cortisol, a hormone that encourages your body to store fat in the abdominal area. Find ways to manage stress that work for you. Walking has been proven to lower stress levels. And try to target 8 hours of quality sleep every night. Lack of sleep messes with your hunger hormones and your insulin sensitivity. And it's linked to more visceral fat gain. So in short, get moving. Try to hit 4K steps a day minimum. Begin strength training if you haven't already. Eat strategically and take care of stress and sleep. These habits will force your body to dip into those fat reserves for energy. And over time, that will include your belly fat. Part 4, the calorie showdown between walking and sit-ups. I'm gonna compare walking 4,000 steps versus doing 400 sit-ups in terms of time and calorie burn. So keep in mind, these are ballpark numbers that I use, but of course these numbers can vary wildly depending on your body size, your fitness level, or your age. Here we go. 400 sit-ups. This will take about 20 minutes if you're reasonably fit and you do them in sets. The calories burned, about 115. And the muscles worked, mostly your abs and your hip flexors. These are relatively small muscle groups. Now, as I was working on this script, I stopped what I was doing and I went to the living room floor and I immediately started doing 400 sit-ups. And I thought I was gonna do about 200 just to make sure that the time estimate was right. And then after I got to about 150, I started slowing down a lot and realized that 400 sit-ups is pretty hard to do. Now, I'm pretty well trained and I go to the gym every day, but I haven't been doing 400 sit-ups lately. But once I got started, I had to keep going. So I ended up doing all 400 in 14 and a half minutes. And man, am I sore today. But it's good for me. I can't wait. I'll probably end up doing this like every day of the week. I don't know. So 14 and a half minutes is gonna be really hard if you haven't done any sit-ups recently. And even 20 minutes is pushing it unless you're already pretty fit. Now, walking on the other hand, that's a lot easier. 4,000 steps. This will take you about 40 minutes. It's 2 miles, and this is gonna take about twice as long as the sit-ups might take you. And this will burn about 160 calories. This will work your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, and your calves. Huge muscle groups, as well as your core for stability. So even though the sit-ups feel harder and certainly give you that ab burn, walking wins for total calorie burn because 1, you can sustain it longer, and 2, you're using larger muscles that demand more energy. When you walk, you're moving some of the largest muscle groups in your body, your quads, hamstrings, and glutes. These big muscles demand a lot of energy to keep you moving, which means you might burn more calories than you expect, even though the effort feels sustainable and easy. Compare that to sit-ups, which set your abs on fire in seconds, but work much smaller muscles. If your goal is maximizing calorie burn, which drives fat loss, you're better off taking a brisk walk or doing other full body activities than cranking out hundreds of crunches. Walking also has the bonus benefit of being really gentle on your joints and something you can do daily. Meanwhile, doing 400 sit-ups might leave you with an angry back and not much to show for it in terms of fat loss. Or in my case, just laying on the floor yesterday afternoon wondering, what am I doing? All right, so let's recap what I talked about today. Spot reduction. You can't choose where your body burns fat first. Doing ab exercises won't specifically burn belly fat. They'll strengthen your abs, but you'll need overall fat loss to see the difference. Your body burns fat according to your DNA. It's best to create a calorie deficit and be consistent. Fat will come off according to your body's genetic pattern. The visceral fat, the deep belly fat, is dangerous to your health, but thankfully it's also quicker to respond to exercise than subcutaneous body fat. That's the fat on top. The best strategy? A combination of whole body training, daily activity with lots of movement like walking, and smart nutrition. And walking versus sit-ups for calorie burn, walking wins for burning calories and fat. It engages bigger muscles, and you can do it for longer, meaning greater calorie burn overall. Sit-ups are fine for strengthening your abs, but they won't make a dent in belly fat on their own. And now that you understand the science, this would include other activities like push-ups, pull-ups. So it's not always obvious that something as simple as walking could actually burn more calories than a hard exercise like doing sit-ups. But the fact that you're here with me, listening, tells me that you're practicing what I call fitness prudence. It's one of my 4 fitness virtues. Fitness prudence means choosing the right path forward, the one that actually gets you to your goals in a sound, sustainable manner. In this case, it's realizing that 4,000 walking steps beats 400 sit-ups for fat loss, even if it doesn't feel as intense. A lot of people in fitness pick the wrong path, get frustrated, and waste time. But you're here learning the proper way to do things, and that puts you way ahead of the game. The myth of spot reduction has been around for decades, but you're not gonna waste any more time doing sit-ups all day. As the National Academy of Sports Medicine puts it, fat loss is a total body process. You trim the belly fat by trimming fat everywhere through smart training and nutrition. The formula is simple. Burn more calories than you consume and build habits that make this sustainable. That means finding activities you enjoy, daily walks, dance classes, or weight training, and eating foods that help you build muscle without adding excess calories. Now, grab those walking shoes, and I mean literally. Check out my favorite picks for walking gear in the description below. My family, friends, and viewers love Brooks. So click through the on-screen links or the links in the description to help support the channel. And if you want proof that walking really can transform your body, check out my video on the best walking speed for fat loss. It's not as fast as you think. Hit like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.